when she wants to see the Colosseum.
Mhm.
And I want to go to Spain. And so we decided that we're going to do a family trip when she turns 13. And we're going to visit France, Spain, and Italy.
That sounds good. I can come with you if you need another person.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been to all of those and they're all amazing and wonderful. I told my son when he graduates high school, I'll take him anywhere in the world he wants to go. So now we're starting to put the fine tuning on that for next year. So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am here chatting with the wonderful Clara Capano, and let me know if I did not pronounce that to your preference.
You're perfect.
Awesome. I am Vihil Vigil. I am a women's empowerment coach, and I am your grateful host of the International Women in Business May Money Talks Mastermind. Now, all month long, we have been hosting phenomenal women from across the globe to talk to you about money matters, finance, wealth building, mindset work, financial planning, the whole gamut. Whatever we can do to infuse you with knowledge and the feeling that you can absolutely talk about these matters. I read a great book 3 years ago, which is what started this process or started this program. And it was Carrie Schwab Pomeranz's book, How to Talk to Your Family About Money. Highly recommend reading it. It was written several years ago. And when I picked it up, I was like, yeah, we've never had these conversations in my family. And the change maker that I am, I decided it's going to start with me. We are going to absolutely shift the paradigm and start building that wealth in our family. And I was going to do what I needed to do to make that happen for my family, for my daughter as she grows. And I just really wanted to continue to infuse that sort of passion and knowledge into the women that I interact with and that I meet. So over the course of this month, we have featured phenomenal women talking to you about money matters. We're live streaming on my Facebook page. We're live streaming in the Empowered Woman by the Empowerment Empire Facebook group. We have been live streaming into our Latina Entrepreneurs Jefas Unidas Facebook group. And each video is then put onto our brand new YouTube channel. So I will be posting that link once our video concludes. So make sure that you go and like and subscribe. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Clara Capano is a fabulous lady. Her and I have been chit-chatting about global travel, and I am so excited to introduce her, this phenomenal TV personality. Let me get to her bio. I want to make sure, there we go. Speaker, author, TV personality. Helps women to get clear on how they can make more money and be smart without burning out and sacrificing key areas of their life. She has the best job in the world. She gets to help women grow and connect with the things that are the most important to them. As an award-winning and international speaker, best-selling author, and mentor, she has the ability to share real strategies for success. Since 2004, she has been able to help women grow their businesses and also make sure they are living their best lives. When you get with Clara, you get confidence, strength, purpose, and focus that you need to build success for your life and for your business. She is the strategist for the smart woman. Let her help you to thrive, grow, and succeed in all of your endeavors. She is going to be speaking with us today on Create Success on Your Own Terms. Please welcome Clara Capano to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having. And, I want to just give you a moment of appreciation for what you're doing, because one of the things that you mentioned is the idea of building wealth. And you see, there is such a difference between just making more money and creating personal wealth. And I think that this is a lesson that so many of us women, not just today, but our future generations, need to understand. So thank you for stepping into this and starting the conversation, because it is something that's so important for all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think for a lot of us, when we grew up, we were not ever really a part of the conversation. I know, my mom always talked about how they need to teach you how to balance your checkbook in school. Well, yes, they do. However, also, we should be having these conversations with our family members from a young age. I have my favorite book right now for my 9-year-old is called How to Be a Great Kidpreneur. And
I love
talking to
that.
her. She wants cash for Robux to play her video games. Then talking to her about how she can make that happen for herself.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
fantastic. So, well, let's go ahead and start diving into, some of these strategies that we can do to be smarter with, what we're doing. Because
Yeah.
if making money is what we want to do so that we can invest it in growing our life, we've got to really think about, what that means for us. And one of the things that I really work with women on is the idea that success is not one size fits all. The way that you do it is going to be different because we all have different demands on us each and every day. So I really help women get very clear. And when we talk about this idea of making more money, what we're often getting to the heart of is this concept of being more productive, which then leads us to our relationship with time. Because time is the great equalizer. It's the one thing we all want more of, and most of us use very poorly. And without investing our time in the right areas, we cannot be more productive. And therefore, it's going to be very hard for us to make more money. Because some of the mistakes that I see women in business do is we try to just do more. And the problem with doing more is we end up doing too many of the wrong things that aren't going to really feed into helping us achieve our goals and serve at the highest level. And then we also end up having less boundaries. So we don't have time to take care of ourselves and the other things. So what we really want to do is, again, change our relationships, because it's not about being just simply an overachiever and checking off the boxes. It's about being a super achiever and really getting clear on what are the right things for us to be doing. And this concept of, again, investing our time. Because just like if I were to give somebody $100 and say, go invest this in your business, they would be expecting a certain return on that investment. It's the same thing with time. For every minute that we invest, we need to be able to think about what are we getting back on the return. So I really want to hit on 5 key things that we need to think about in order to leverage our time in the right areas so that we can increase our productivity, so that we can not only open ourselves up to make more money, but that time can also be reinvested into ourselves and also reinvested into the relationships that we want to build long term. So the first thing that I encourage everyone to do is to really look at the beauty of a schedule. You see, a lot of us fight a schedule, or even if we put a schedule together, we don't look at it and we don't follow it. You see, a schedule brings us freedom. When we have a schedule, it really allows us to make time for the right things. So I really encourage people, even before the week starts, is to have a strategy session with themselves where they can get really clear and lay out what are the things that I need to focus on this week. What are the key things, dates and deadlines, appointments, people I need to connect with and follow up with, projects I need to work on, how I'm going to work on my skill sets. You've got to list those things out and then go and block the time for them. Now, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I hear you. I'm with you. I follow you. I do that all the time. But then we get into the week and we don't adhere to it. So what I encourage people to do is when they have the time blocked out, what generally happens is distractions come in, opportunities come in, and we end up dropping the schedule that we did. So what I encourage people to do is when something new comes up, after you've time blocked everything, when something new comes in, you've got to have a checks and balance system. One of the things you need to do is you need to master this simple phrase. I would love to meet with you, or I would love to help you with that. However, I have a previously set appointment at that time. You see, we need to make sure that we see everything as an appointment, because that puts us back in control of our time. And again, it allows us to really assess what we should be doing with that time.
Yep.
Go a step further. And then I always say, ask yourself 2 questions. If I move this item, if I move this thing that is already time blocked, if I agree to move it, what is it that I am then saying no to? Because if you say yes to something, you have to say no to something else. So it'll just stop you for a moment to, again, decide if it's the right thing to be doing. And then the second question is, does this make good business sense? We can move things, but only if it's going to really keep us in alignment. And that doesn't mean we get rid of what we already had time blocked. We can move it if it makes good business sense. Because again, when you are on the clock, you've got to make sure that you are using your time in the most focused areas so that you can be productive. So put your schedule together. If something comes up, just ask yourself, if I agree to do this, what am I then agreeing not to do? And does this make good business sense? So those are some great ways to have some checks and balances to help you stay in your schedule. The second thing is we have to be a better boss. Now, regardless of if we are running our own business, so we're an entrepreneur, a mompreneur, a womanpreneur, whatever we want to call ourselves, or if we have a traditional job where we have a boss, the truth is we are still the boss of ourselves. And most of us are not really good at being a boss. And here's what I mean by that. I remember when I was managing a large real estate office, one of the things that I would do each and every year with my staff is I would sit down with them and have evaluations where I would ask questions and sort of look at, are they showing up on time? Are they doing the job that they need to be doing? Do they get easily distracted? Are they earning the income that I am paying them? And if they were not doing that, they would either get fired or more likely get a reprimand and be put on probation. I would guess that if I were to follow most of us around, and if all of us were truly being honest with ourselves, most of us need to be on probation because we're not showing up the way that we should be. We are not being a good enough boss. We are losing time. We are getting too distracted. We are not finishing the projects that we need to be finishing. We are doing too many of the things that are not in our wheelhouse, meaning that I'm doing things that are really not in the same lane as my role as the CEO of my company. So we need to really be a better job of saying, are we really doing the right things? And making sure that, again, we're showing up and doing the things that we truly need to be doing. So we've got to be a better boss for ourselves.
Claire, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you see, and I go through this with my clients as well, I even hand out books like Organized for Success, etc. In February, we do a whole power planning session. I know what I do with my clients, but tell me what you do when you're working with someone and they're sliding off of the schedule and they just can't seem to keep up with it. Yeah. What do you do to help them out?
Yeah. So a couple of things I do is I really bring them back to why they are doing what they're doing. Like, what is their big vision? What is their driving force? Because when we understand our why, I'm not showing up to do my job. I am showing up so I can create a platform to allow me to create my overall vision. So oftentimes it's not a matter of, the discipline. Sometimes it's more of the motivation, because if you know what you are working for, you want to show up because you want to support that vision that you're creating. The other thing that I do with them, and when I work with them, one of the things that they come away with after they work with me is their success plan. And part of that is having a weekly strategy session with themselves where they actually fill out and reflect on the week before, again, get their targets for this week done, and then put their schedule together. And they actually have to send that to me so I can review what they are doing. But what that does for me is it allows me to look for patterns, because it doesn't mean that every week has to be a perfect 10. But if I start noticing that certain things are not getting done, there's a block. Either they're getting too easily distracted, maybe they're not understanding why they should be doing this item, or again, they're getting lost. So I can interrupt the patterns and bring them back to get them back on their path of success.
I love it. Yeah, because I like that you put it in that perspective where let's readdress your why. Let's readdress your motivation. Mm-hmm. Are you not motivated enough to keep yourself on track, focused, or has like some sort of a fireball just landed in your lap and thrown you all off schedule, exactly. Bringing them back to center. And I love that weekly meeting.
Yeah, the weekly meeting, honestly, is one of my secret weapons that I work with. And, really, I've had so many of the women I work with, just doing that one thing has helped them, increase their business by over 100%. by just getting that clarity in. And for me, my why is really to motivate and inspire women to greatness daily. That's what gets me to show up, because it's like, I have an obligation. I know I have tools that are going to dramatically change and impact their life in a productive way, because I had to do it myself. I had a total and complete utter breakdown. So a lot of the lessons and strategies were created and opened up the space in my life. And when I know that I can really change their world for the better, I have an obligation to show up. And again, it's that motivation that drives me. So
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. So let's go on to number 3. So we had number 1, which was the schedule. We had number 2, which was be a better boss. Number 3 is really going to be all about setting deadlines. Think about when you have to go on a trip. Isn't it amazing how productive we can be when we know we have to jump on a plane at 5 o'clock at night? That day before we go on vacation, man, are we productive, because we have a deadline. So I encourage you, have deadlines in your day. Pretend like you've got to go on a trip every day at 6 o'clock at night. Don't just say to yourself, oh, I need to make calls to my pipeline this week. Say, I need to make calls to my pipeline by noon on Wednesday. I need to get this project done by Tuesday at 2 p.m. so I can get it over to my printer or whatever to create it. Create deadlines in your days and in your weeks. And the same is true is if you have an assistant. Don't just give them an assignment and say, I need this done this month. Because they're going to do what most of us do when we were in school and the teacher said, you have a project due on May 31st. We're cramming on May 30th to get it done. Tell them, I need this project done by May 30th, but I need the draft done by May 10th. I need the outline done. I need the event booked. Bring in deadlines, because when we have deadlines, if we don't, our time will fill for whatever time we have open. A funny way that I look at this, an example I give of this is laundry. I hate doing laundry, and it can take me 3 weeks from start to finish. And I have been known to just go shopping and buy more clothes so I don't have to finish my laundry. However, if I have somebody coming over to my house, friends for an event, my mother say, it's amazing that I can get that laundry done in about 3 hours because I have a deadline. So again, create these deadlines in your world. The next thing I talk about is this idea of control. We spend far too much time trying to control and investing our time in things that we cannot control. Now, my background was in real estate. I cannot control the interest rates. I cannot control the real estate market or the economy. All I can control really is 2 things: the mindset that I choose to go into each day with, and then the actions I take.
Yes.
That is all I can control. So I encourage, the women that I work with to do the same thing. What can you control? Because if you cannot control it, let it go. This is why you also want to have business partners, strategic partners who are excellent in those areas that are out of your control. You've got to give the people you work with control over the decisions they need to make. Because all we can control is how we show up every day, which is our mindset. And then are we going to take the appropriate actions? I even can't choose if somebody chooses to work with me. All I can control is, did I show up? Did I make the call? Did I provide the value to them? But whether they say yes or not, that's their decision. It's out of my control. Mm-hmm. So we've got to really focus and again, get really clear on what it is we can control and become really strategic at those areas.
I love it. I love it. I'm writing it down on my notebook because I'm really glad that you mentioned that what you can control is the mindset that you have and the actions that you take throughout the day. When you wake up in the morning, no matter what, you put on your game face, you put on, you have to, for so many of us entrepreneurs who don't oftentimes, have a report that we have to report to, you have to do that with yourself. If you're going to choose this line of work, you have to wake up, you need to blow some hot air up in your face.
Yeah.
And okay, let's do this. Let's create a really great, magnificent day. And then these are the things that I'm going to do that is going to work towards that goal.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to do this, but I love that you brought this in. And because I think it's really important. It's easy to say, how am I showing up? And I've got to show up as a rock star today. But what does that even mean? And again, one size doesn't fit all. The way that you define showing up is going to be different than I define. So I'm going to do a little exercise with you. And then for those watching can play along at home. I want you to think about a time that you were what we call in the zone. You know, we all have that moment where we got off a call, we left an appointment, whatever it is that we did, and we're like, I nailed it. We have that really strong feeling that, man, I was firing on all cylinders. Yeah. When you think of a moment that you were in that moment, that you were in the zone, what would you say are 5 words that you would use to describe yourself in that moment?
Pleased.
Mm-hmm.
Satisfied. I felt encouraged, accomplished, excited.
Yeah. So what you have done is you have just laid out and defined what it means for you to show up as the best version of yourself. So my 5 words are energized, passionate, prepared, genuine, and motivating. That is Clara when Clara is at her best. That is also what people are paying me for. Nobody wants to show up and get a 70% version of Clara. So if I am going to show up and serve at the highest level possible each and every day, and also create a foundation where I am going to be the most productive version of myself, I have got to show up as those 5 words. So when we talk about showing up and the mindset you need to show up, it's not just a mindset of positivity and abundance. It's also a mindset of knowing who that person is. So really getting clear, having those 5 words and checking in with them. Am I ready to be this person today? Because when you show up, you are going to be the best version. You are going to be more focused. You're going to have the right energy. You're going to bring in that passion to connect with people. And that's what's also going to help you, again, stay on your schedule and really know that you are providing the best to those that you're working with. So really getting clear on that.
I love it. I love you on this program. I'm so glad that you are here.
Well, thank you.
You're firing us up over here.
Well, again, I learned all of these by falling down a lot of times. And, I am just so passionate about really empowering, especially women. Not that I don't love men, but I'm a woman and I get women. And, just again, really understanding that we can create success on our terms. And, it's just all about, and I kind of laugh about it, but it's all about bringing a little clarity into your world. So that's what I try to do to people.
I love it.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I encourage people to do to increase their productivity is the idea of rest. We have to take time off. And this is one of the things we do not do enough of, and we do not do it well. We will tell people, oh, I'm taking the day off. Oh, I'm going to go off and I'm going to take a break for an hour. But what do we always have with us? Our little phones, our little devices. We truly do not disconnect. And it was really interesting. I had one of my clients about 3 years ago, and we were doing her sort of year-end review. And one of the questions I asked her, because her business was up about 70%. And I said, what do you think was the secret sauce this year that changed for you? Because I had already been working with her for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like I took time off, and I really took time off. She's like, and what I noticed when I took the time off is I actually came back more energized, more creative, and with the idea that I want to connect with my people. She's like, when we don't take time off, we get resentful. One of my mentors, Darren Hardy, always would say, your clients pay you to take time off. Because again, I can't show up as those 5 words if I'm not well rested. So we have to start building in time. And this is where going back to the schedule, because a lot of these build on each other. When you put your schedule together, the very first thing that needs to go into your schedule is your life. Because the reason most of us don't have a life is because we don't plan it. Now, when I started my consulting business, my son was about 3 years old. And I remember being a single mom one night as I was working and doing everything, he came over to me and was so proud to just show me a picture that he had been drawing. He was into this moment where he was making like little comic books and things like that. And I was on the phone, I was working and doing most things. And I remember kind of being like, oh yeah, honey, that's beautiful. Mommy will look at that in a few minutes. And thank God he took the phone out of my hand and said, Mommy, you're not paying attention to me. And after that was the sort of catalyst to my breakdown.
Yeah.
And, having to decide, okay, is this going to be another night where after I put him to bed, I just sort of drowned my guilt, my shame, and my sorrow in some red Zinfandel and Ben and Jerry's? Or am I really going to make a change? And that was sort of where I started being like, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't showing up and being present. I was exhausted. And I was not good. I was not being a good mom. I was not being a good friend. I was not being good to my clients because I wasn't able to show up whole. And when we do not step away, we cannot show up and serve at the highest level. So block that time off. Yes, I want you to take vacations and I want you to go on vacation, but in between those, take time off. And it doesn't have to be an entire day. It doesn't have to be an entire weekend. It could be a 20-minute walk. Leave your phone at home and just go for a walk and get some fresh air. It could be, again, shutting down your business. I know for me, I am a morning, bird. So I like to get up and I front load my days. But then from about 1 to 4, I disconnect. And I usually don't do anything. I take a nap. I might go work out. I might go meet a friend for coffee. I might just sit down and watch junk TV. It doesn't matter, but I let myself disconnect. Then I can come back and do about another hour and a half of work to close out my day.
Yeah.
Got to find it for you, but you've got to take some downtime.
That's my, that's what I like to do right before I go pick up my daughter from school. Right about like, I will get everything scheduled up until, right around 2:00, because I leave the house about 2:30 so I can get to her school before she gets out at 3. And so everything stops at like 2:00 so that I can like turn things off. Sometimes I'll go like kick my feet up. I'll throw on a bit of Netflix. I'll grab my book. Oftentimes I will just like go and lay on my bed and close my eyes.
Yeah.
Just to give myself that opportunity to have that break in the day, because I like to front load my days as well. I like to do a ton of work during the early part of the day when I'm super motivated and fresh and I got a, clear mind, and it helps me to stay on my schedule. And then the 2:00 hour kind of comes and I'm just like, wow, okay, have I eaten today? How much water have I drank today?
Yep.
How have I been addressing my own personal needs outside of taking care of all of my clients and all of my client work? I give myself that 1 hour block between 2 and 3. And then I leave my house at 2:30 and I'm always early to pick up my daughter from school. And then, when she comes home, sometimes, we'll have snack and then she wants to go play with her friends. And that's when I get to do like other things, like my fun, creative things. Like I'm working on the magazine, I'm doing some design work. It's, it's not hardcore business focused mind, Vihil. It's more like creativity. Let me play, let me cook some soup while I'm doing some design and, that kind of thing. And I think when we don't give ourselves that chance for pause, if you continue to run yourself just ragged, you literally will just crumble.
You will.
And I can say that from experience as well.
Yeah. And the truth is I think, again, on a logical level, we all get this and we all understand it.
Yeah.
The problem is we tell ourselves, but I can't do it, because in our mind, again, it's too big. We're like, I can't take an entire day off. I can't step away from my business. And again, especially if we're running our own business. But what we have to do is we have to understand that we're already doing this. For example, I am here with you right now. I guarantee you, I have voice messages coming in. I have emails coming in, but I am here with you because this, again, is an appointment. It would be rude of me to be checking my emails and doing those things. So I truly can step away from my business for an hour. It is possible. But the thing is we only tell ourselves we can do that again when we have this quote unquote appointment. This is why now everything is an appointment. So for example, if I go to lay down and take a nap, that is an appointment. I can do it because I already know I can do it in other areas, but you've got to shift that mindset. One of the things I really encourage people to do, I was taught this in 3-hour increments. And I just feel in this day and age, and also for me, 3 hours was too long. It was too long for me, to step away and not have some sort of check-in. So what I do is something called bubble time. And a lot of times what I do is I break it into hour increments. And then what I do is and I'm just going to say from 9 to 10. So from 9 to 9:45, I do whatever it is I need to do. I work, I make outgoing calls, I take a nap, I work out, whatever it is that I do it for 45 minutes. Then I take a 15-minute pause where I can check in with my voicemails, check in with my emails, and address anything that needs to be addressed. Yeah. This way you can have these tight bubbles of focus to really get things done. So if I want to go for a walk, I can block an hour. I can go for a walk for 45 minutes and then have 15 minutes to check. If I want to play a game with my son or watch a movie, I can watch the movie for 45 minutes, take a little bit of a break and say, oh, I'm just going to run and get something to drink, check my voicemails and emails really quick. So it allows us to, again, open up that time, because even if we only did it in 30 minutes increments, sometimes just that 30-minute break to let our brains quiet is enough to give us the break that we need.
Absolutely. You have to be able to shift, I think, focus. You can hyper focus on something for so long. And I know for myself, as a super creative person that I am, like I start shifting in my seat. I'm not doing my best, right, if I am forcing myself to just to push through. Like sometimes if I'm on a deadline and I got to redo something came up, but I know when I give myself the grace to pause, that I'm always going to come back better. Always. There's never a time when I've taken a break and thought, oh, wow, like that was for no reason. No,
exactly.
Every single time I give myself that break, I always come back stronger.
Yeah. And if you actually study the brain, they will tell you, scientists will tell you that the brain works at its optimal level in 45 to 50-minute increments with then a 10 or a 15-minute break. So we are designed to work. None of us are made to work for 8 hours straight. So again, it's just another productivity hack is, again, work in accordance with how we were created to work. So
I have been doing some brain studies lately as well. A lot of my clients, I do a trauma-informed coaching with Grace. And I have been studying about how the experience of trauma definitely changes the way our brain operates, changes the brain. I have been learning about how to be able to have, to work on triggers, to give yourself that opportunity to slow down, to be able to really hyper focus, then give yourself those breaks. It allows you to be so much more productive when you are in those productive phases. I think in our day-to-day, we run ourselves so rampant. So, I used to definitely be guilty of this. And when I stopped doing that and gave myself that opportunity to say, you know what, if you're going to run your own business and you're going to be your own boss, you need to set your schedule. And that's when I went out and I bought my appointment calendar that is like you would see at a salon. It's broken down by 15-minute increments. And I use it every single day. And I started to schedule in my break time. I will put it in my my online calendar. You can't book an appointment at 2:00 because that is my rest time. I love that you said you have to schedule everything, because that's what we do. We prioritize things that we put on an appointment, we put into our schedule. So
Yeah.
schedule yourself downtime,
Yeah.
schedule your play time, your movie time.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah, it's funny. I was getting my hair done yesterday, and I was talking to my hairdresser or my stylist, I should say. And I was talking with her about it. And because again, it's so easy. And sometimes if you just have it blocked, done for the day, even if, again, you can adjust it and change it. If you have that one person that is like, I just need this. If it's a good client and it makes business sense, again, you can do it. But just by having that in your schedule, it's something that's going to call your attention to, oh, I'm supposed to be on off time here.
Yeah.
So again, blocking in, again, downtime, time for me, personal time, whatever you want to call it. She's actually just going to label it DFD, done for day. So if anybody looks over her shoulder and sees her calendar, they don't see done for day. They see just an appointment.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us about what you have for our awesome audience today that's tuning in.
Yes. So, well, one of the things that I have is we'll be putting a link in. That's a link to my free handbook, which is Saying No is Okay. Because again, if we want to be able to open up our time and invest our time, we have to understand that we have to say no. So the free handbook will give them some of the reasonings behind why saying no is so important, but also give them some really great statements that they can use to be able to say no without having it sound like no. And then what I would just love to do, I just love to be a resource, and I just love to help people whenever I can. So I also want to share my Calendly link. So if what I'm saying makes sense, if you are listening to these tips and you're like, I want to know more, or I really want some help with this area, set up a one-on-one with me, and I can, just ask you a few questions and give you a few tips that I think might be helpful for you, and and do those things. So again, they can set up a free call with me. Really want some help. No obligations, but just to be able to be there to serve them.
I have posted let me post it right now. And I will.
And if they go to my website, on my website, they can also get the free handbook. They can get other tips and tools that I have. And then also I have 2 streaming shows that really highlight, women and their stories to success, so they can get all of my blogs and watch the TV shows there too.
I love it. Okay, I've got your Calendly link posted. I have your website posted. Perfect. We have Phoenicia Palmer is in the group. She's commenting, saying that she is really loving this presentation. Thank you so much for jumping on. We've got a handful of comments. Let's take a look. I have posted your details. Excellent.
And if anybody has any questions, throw out some questions too.
Yeah, let's see. We have a few more minutes. Well, let me talk also a little bit about why we are doing all of this.
Yes.
So the Empowerment Empire was built to bring people together. Our mantra is, through collective collaboration, we all rise. And I truly, truly believe in that the more we connect with one another, the more that we are empowering one another, the more that we are sharing our experiences, our goals, our expertise, our scheduling hacks, the better we will be for it. I think when we come together in a supportive environment, we all succeed more. We all find greater success. What the Empowerment Empire strives to do is to create these online programs. We do business coaching and personal empowerment work. We do online events and in-person events. We have our publications, Magistra Magazine, and our Boss Latinas anthology that we're currently working on. Magistra Magazine has been going strong for 3 years now, and we just put out our 7th issue. We do once a quarter, and in that magazine, we feature amazing women like Clara. We feature amazing women that have been on the program for the duration of this month, because our goal is to share these phenomenal women and their stories and their experiences and their advice with everyone who is interested. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a woman who is trying to up-level your professional development, you can certainly sit in your own little bubble at home and read your books and watch videos, but how great is it to be able to interact with another person who can really give you that live feedback? I am a true advocate of always having a therapist and always having a coach. Have some sort of a mentor that can help you, really reflect and to think about your life in strategic ways. I want to really thank you, Clara, for really calling attention to the fact that, yes, calendar out your day, set aside time for yourself so that you can get the work done that you are striving to accomplish. Give yourself that grace of 15-minute breaks. I love the 45 on, 15 off. It will give us a chance to be super focused. And what I like to tell my clients, when we start working with each other for the first week, they have to calendar out their day. Monday through Friday, at least, it has to be calendared, and they have to send it to me. Because that's what, when you said that, I was like, yes, it is so effective. And then I say, okay, after the first week that you don't want to continue to doing this calendaring process and it doesn't work for you, then we'll talk about it. But to work with me, that's what you have to do for the first week. I have been able to really see the level of productivity when we are intentionally designing our lives. The level of productivity increases.
Yep.
When we are intentional about the decisions that we make and we put out into the world the things that we truly want, our lives truly change. Our goal for the Empowerment Empire, and specifically for May Money Talks Mastermind, is to share more pieces of information with you, different types of information all around the world of money, finance, and wealth building, so that you can take this conversation to your family's dinner table, so that you can take these conversations to your girlfriends sitting around at happy hour. Sharing knowledge, I think, just continues to help us grow and encourage us. This is also our annual fundraiser. And you can register for free on the Zoom to be able to participate with us live, or you can catch the videos on our YouTube channel, in the Empowered Woman by the Empowerment Empire Facebook group, in the Latina Entrepreneurs Japas Unidas Facebook group. We've been kind of peppering our videos here and there, but you can find all of them on our YouTube channel, which I will be posting here later. But the fundraiser is designed to, if you are a businesswoman, register for the $100. If you are interested in becoming an Empowerment Empire partner, register for the $175. And what the partnership brings you is also additional exposure for your business, doing live videos with us, having your information placed on our workbooks. You can see the host of benefits when you go to the registration link for this event. The goal is to be able to raise $5,000. So at the end of this year, we are able to offer 5 $1,000 scholarships to women who need the cash flow to be infused into their business to help get them moving. If you need to hire an accountant to help you get your accounting system set up, if you need to hire someone to come in and help you with something to get you started, that is one of our big goals for the year. So this is an opportunity we live stream for free, but please decide on registering as a businesswoman or business owner for $100, or become a partner of the Empowerment Empire for $175. It's pretty low for an investment if you really think about the great impact that we plan on making, by reaching our goal of $5,000. So with that, Clara, I want to thank you so very much for your time. Do you have we have about 9 minutes. You have some closing thoughts that you would like to share with our audience? I would love to hear them.
Yeah, I think, for the first thing is just get really clear, on what is going to work for you. I think too many times we look at other people and we're like, oh, I have to do it their way or that way. Find what's going to work for you. If you want to work more in the morning, do it. If you want to take a Tuesday off instead of a weekend day, do it. Find what is going to work for you, because when you get clear on that, And when you start showing up authentically to you, the right people will come to you. You know, I remember early on in my career, I wanted to help everybody. So I didn't say no to anybody. And that it was crazy. You know, now when I work with people, and if somebody wants to say, oh, well, I would love to work with you at 7 o'clock at night, it's not going to work for me. I go to bed at 8:30 because I'm up at 5, you know, but they understand that. And, you know, when I work with people and if something comes up and I'm like, I have to reschedule because my son is sick or I have to go get him at school, the right people understand that and work with you. So again, stop trying to please everybody and stop trying to do it. And that's why I really, you know, title a lot of the work that I do is Success on Your Terms, because it's your life. You know, you have to make sure that it's really in alignment. The other thing is, again, don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to walk away from things that just aren't going to work for you. You know, I have been asked to speak on certain platforms and do those. And at first glance, I want everything. I want an idea, but sometimes it just doesn't make good business sense. It's not my ideal client. The traveling that's going to be involved is going to take me out of the time that I really need to do other things that I need to do. So again, before you agree to do something, you know, going back to those questions, you know, does this make good business sense? Is this in alignment with my goals and my vision? You know, and if I choose to do this, what is it going to keep me from doing? You've got to make solid business decisions. And then again, be honest about your time. When we put our schedule together, you know, not only blocking out time for yourself, but get very clear and very honest. How many hours are you investing this week? Maybe it's a normal week, so it's going to be a normal 40-hour-a-week work week. Great. But if you are going to have to leave on Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because you have to go to a doctor appointment, don't set your Wednesday up as an 8-hour workday. It's not. So again, it's not about the time, it's how we use and how we leverage that time. So if you only have 25 hours to invest in your work this week, what is the highest and best use of that time? It is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things. So just getting really clear and just laser beam focused on those, because when you really look at your investment of time, you're going to be more focused. You're going to be more productive. And that productivity is going to allow you to do more, to have more, and to live more. And those are really the things that we want. We want more money. We want better quality time and relationships, and we want more time with ourselves. So the key is looking at your time to unlock the opportunity and abundance in all of those areas.
Fantastic. I love that you said it's not about doing more or doing everything. It's about doing the right things. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Clara. It has been a true pleasure getting to know you. Make sure out there in the internet world that you are commenting on this post. If you're seeing it in one of our social media, one of our Facebook groups, or if you find us on YouTube, if you have any questions that you would like to ask of Clara, book an appointment on her calendar. It's super quick and easy. You click the link, you select the time that's going to work for you, and then you can connect. I think one of the things that we oftentimes will put off is that, oh, I'm going to make that appointment later. Do it right now. Click on the link, make an appointment, because I'm sure her calendar fills up quick. And just take that opportunity to pause in your life, to speak with an expert who can share some really great and exciting tools, hacks that will help you to really make your life better. Thank you so much for joining the International Women in Business May Money Talks Mastermind, Clara. It has been a true pleasure. And I look forward to getting to know you more and collaborating with you again.
I would love that. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody else out there. What you are doing is amazing. So I am going to go check out the website and look at, doing the fundraiser, because again, we all grow when we all work together. So
absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. It is Thankful Thursday. Please be thankful. Share your thankfulness with the amazing people around you. Let's create for a greater, more positive world around us. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.